Morning, everyone. Welcome to Cults and Conspiracies. I am your host, Jay. Today, we're going to be starting a look at the Heaven's Gate cult, specifically the actual website itself. So we're going to get information straight from the source. I got something I'm going to read out for you real quick, and I'll bring in the guests. Just a short snippet on the history. So Heaven's Gate was an American religious movement, often described as a cult. It was founded in 1974, led by Bonnie Nettles and Marshall Applewhite. Known within the movement as Peep and Bo, Her and Him, and T and Do, respectively. Funny and charismatic, an overachiever who's on the honor roll. That's how Louis Wynant remembered her brother, Marshall Applewhite. Louise, not Louis, my apologies. Who will go on to be the Heaven's Gate cult leader. None of Applewhite's loved ones could understand how the man they knew, a friendly jester, a devout Christian, a devoted husband and father of two, could walk away from everything to fund a cult. And not just any cult. Heaven's Gate was considered bizarre even among the other strange New Age beliefs cropping up in the 70s. Heaven's Gate was curiously techie. It had a website before most traditional business did. Its beliefs were something out of Star Trek involving UFOs, aliens, and talk of ascension to the next level. But it also had strains of the familiar. It clearly borrowed from Christianity, as Applewhite claimed to be able to save his followers from Lucifer. It was a combination that provoked laughter and ridicule more often than conversation, but somehow it did convert dozens of people. In the end, nobody was laughing. Not when 39 cult members turned up dead in 97 due to mass suicide that stunned America. So today, I will be joined by Digital Demonic Davros, Matt, almost a doctor, and the grumpy old dude. As always, Chris will be in the background. He may pop in from time to time, but we're going to bring our guests in. Davros. As always, I jumped the gun on that one. But yeah, okay, it's learning. It's not a good stream if something doesn't screw up. So, morning, everyone. How are we today?
Going well.
Good evening.
Well, yes, it is. It is evening, despite the fact that I have the sun behind me.
That's not the sun.
Yes, it is.
That's a comet.
I am definitely missing something.
We lost
Where did Jay go?
Okay, so I'm going to jump in, and I actually didn't do that. Jay literally just disappeared, so I don't know what's happened there. And we've
Could have dropped out.
I have no idea what happened. Just all of a sudden, it was like back to the dashboard. I'm like, what?
Listen,
there
they heard you talking about them, and they attacked your interwebs.
There you go.
Conspiracy confirmed.
Conspiracy confirmed. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the first intro. Excuse me. We're going to look at the website itself, and we're going to look at Doe's intro, the purpose, and the simple bottom line from the actual website itself. Let me share this here. There we go. That's the actual website itself. And yes, it is still up and running. And yes, you can still go to it. And there's still people that are running it. And if you go down here to the bottom, you can actually email them and they will send you materials on Heaven's Gate itself. So.
Now, here's the thing, though. Didn't the time for all this come and go already? Or are they still trying to get people to follow their beliefs for the next go around?
Heaven's Gate officially the mass suicide to join the spaceship following the comet was in 97.
Right.
But if I remember right, we may end up getting to it at some point. If I remember right, the two people that were left to help promote the word, because apparently the next time it comes around, you'll be able to do the same thing. To leave your body and join the ship when Hale Bop comes around again.
Yeah, a lot of this is new to me because it's not an area I'm particularly familiar with, but it does show that even the most ridiculous things can be quite appealing to people. It's sometimes hard to rule out false beliefs. So I guess that's the importance of critical thinking, because it's not always easy to do. But yeah, I'm just reading the lines at the bottom of the picture up in the top right.
Mhm.
As was promised, the keys to Heaven Gate are here again in T and Do, the UFO 2, as they were in Jesus and his Father 2,000 years ago.
Well, that's interesting because Hale-Bopp has a 4,000-year orbit.
Is it 4,000? I thought it was
What?
only like 1,900.
As part of its 4,000-year orbit of the Sun, the comet Hale-Bopp passed near Earth in one of the most impressive astronomical events in the 20th century. In late March 1997, as Hale-Bopp reached its closest distance to Earth, Applewhite and 38 of his followers... Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Now,
Also, sorry,
good.
Jay, just remember, these guys had a web development company. They made websites,
mhm.
and they were very good, apparently.
Well,
Except
that
for
was
this one.
probably back in the 90s when this would have been a good website, because the coding back then was much simpler, and so was processing power.
That nowadays websites, if you just scroll down, the stars would have stayed in the one place, and the words would have just moved.
Yeah, this looks like it hasn't been changed since the 90s.
Well, I'm assuming that the experts that they had probably drank the Kool-Aid. So now they
No,
gotta find...
the experts are actually the ones that are banning the website.
Oh, so wow.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast called Necronomipod, and they did a great, I think it was a 3-parter on Heaven's Gate. And yeah, they contacted the guys from Heaven's Gate, and they sent them all the information they wanted. So yeah, just email them down and say, hey, we want some information. Because these here are just experts from books. Obviously, you can see transcripts from a couple videos. Our position against suicide. Yeah, we'll get to that one at some point. Yeah. But so, just to start it off here. Now, what you got to remember is that sorry.
Stuff.
I got sidetracked. I was reading something else. Marshall Applewhite, also known as Doe, was not the leader and founder of Heaven's Gate. It was actually Bonnie Nettles. She was the one that actually started the whole thing. It was through her that Heaven's Gate was founded, and their belief system had came through. Now, Bonnie died in 1985. And when that happened, Heaven's Gate really lost a lot of its people. It was a really confusing time for Heaven's Gate. They at one point it was fit to implode and just go away. But through some wacky things that came out of Applewhite's mouth and what he did, and managed to turn it around and get it back up to the number it was, where the 38 people, including him, not including himself, had taken their own lives to join the spaceship behind the comet. Now, Bonnie Nettles used to tell her followers that she was the reincarnation of Jesus, and that when she passes or leaves her mortal body, she would ascend into a new body that would travel them to the new kingdom.
What?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I
Only
said,
in America.
yeah, only. Well, I don't know. Like, there's some oddball ones out there in other countries too.
Davros, we've had at least a few people who thought they were the reincarnation of Jesus. Particularly if you go out to rural Australia, there's a couple of groups that have existed at various times. I don't know too much about them because, well, not too interested in finding out more on those, but we've definitely had a couple of them that and they tend to be the more end of the world type natters, as I think Chris was talking about the other night, which was a good lead into this one. Though there's definitely more of it in other parts of the world.
We have had a cultist come to Adelaide itself. I can't remember his name. He was from Africa. He was like a warlord from Africa, and he came here and started up some form of religious cult. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll let the boys know. They might like this one.
Cool. So, to read the opening statement here on the website, it says, whether Halebot has a companion or not is irrelevant from our perspective. However, its arrival is joyously very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. The joy is that our older member of the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom in heaven, has made it clear to us that Halebop's approach is the marker we've been waiting for. The time of the arrival of the spacecraft from the level above human to take us home to their world and the literal heavens. Our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation from the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world and go with T's crew. If you study the material on this website, you will hopefully understand our joy and what our purpose on Earth here has been. You may even find your boarding pass to leave with us during this brief window. We are so very thankful that we have been recipients of this opportunity to prepare for membership in their kingdom and experience their boundless caring and nurturing.
It would be hilarious if it wasn't for what happened because of that, but that doesn't sound like they've updated that, because it sounds like that's already happened.
Yeah, so the website has not been updated. It's just being maintained.
Yeah. So how would they still have followers then if all of this is meant to have already happened?
I'm not exactly sure. If you look, I think it's this one. What's it? Yeah, this one here. It goes through some stuff. But yeah, we'll get to that at some point. Okay. So
like, are they still trying to recruit for the next go round in 4,000 years?
That's what I had thought, but it's I don't know for sure. Like I said, I didn't read into this whole thing because I wanted to keep. The ones you see in purples are the ones. I had just briefly taken a look at these ones in purple, so I didn't want to dig into too much of it. I'm sorry, the teal, not the purple. The purple I haven't looked at yet, but just because I wanted to take a look and see what was going on here. So I don't know a lot of what actually is going on after this, other than I do know there are at least 2 people that are still maintaining the site.
Wow.
Hang on just a second.
So how big did the cult get at its maximum?
Give me just a second, guys. Sorry, some behind the scenes stuff here real quick.
Unless they think there's another comet.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's see.
You say sorry one more time, boy. I'm going to come there and I'm going to do stuff to you you wish your mother didn't do.
Yay. Let's see here. I can't find the exact number, but if I remember right, I think at one point in the 80s before T passed away, they had just over 100. And then they, like, after she passed away, they lost a bunch of people. But some of them did return.
After what happened?
Before the mass suicide. So some left when T passed away, and then then came back later. I can't find. I thought it would be here. So we are joined also by Brandon Worrell. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, what's up?
How you going?
What's up?
I'm good. How's everybody?
We're good.
Cool.
Oh, coping with lockdown at the moment.
Nah.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, but you have to live in South Australia.
Yeah, where we have wines that beat the French, where we have cows that the Japanese want.
Yeah, we got wine here too.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. Hunter Valley.
You gotta-
Just go up north a bit.
Hunter. Barossa, baby. That's where it's at. McLaren Vale. I'm surrounded by wine.
As long as it contains ethanol, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm more of a whiskey person anyway.
I'll have to look, dig more deep into that. I can't seem to find the actual what their peak numbers were. I just keep everything I keep getting just says 39.
Yeah, but that's how many died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm gonna have to dig in a little deeper at some point for that.
I like it when Sorry,
Wrong
I
show.
like it when Jay goes deep.
Wrong show.
Now,
Oh,
here's
so-
something
yeah, but we're not talking shallow earth, so you can go deep. It's okay.
No, go ahead, Ed.
Here's something I find interesting. There's one part on there that says to access our book online in its entirety, how and when Heaven's Gate may be entered. But then they have to order a hard copy of our book. Listen, why am I going to pay the money?
Here's the thing. If you actually look at it, there isn't. You can access it. Like, we'll take this one here first. That's what you get. So I don't think it's the entire statement. I think it's just the beginning of it.
Do they have any new content after 97?
Not that I have found. I don't think they have.
I remember when talking about cults and conspiracies, like one of the worst in history. I'm not sure if it quite counts as a cult, but it was a guy in China. We're talking hundreds of years ago, or potentially longer, who thought he was the reincarnation of Jesus and started a civil war that may have been one of the bloodiest civil wars in human history. Trying to remember the name, but it caused a lot of trouble. I'll look that one up too, because it's a side note. But when you claim to have some inside knowledge, if you can gain any legitimacy, it's quite scary what you can do when people buy into it. And I think this is a good example, but so are some of these other ones.
Well, Jim Jones at his peak had like 10,000 members, I think, of People's Temple. I think there were like 10,000 members at one time.
I know. I don't know about if it was 10,000, but I knew they had quite a few at the People's Temple.
So, a whole bunch. I mean, he had 900 of them commit suicide in Ghana. So,
all right. So we're gonna start taking a look here at this is Doe's intro. The purpose and belief, and what is our purpose? The simple bottom line. So 2,000 years ago, a crew of members of the Kingdom of Heaven who are responsible for nurturing gardens determined that a percentage of the human plants of the present civilization in this garden, Earth, had developed enough that some of those bodies might be ready to be used as containers for soul deposits. Upon instruction, a member of the Kingdom of Heaven that left behind his body in that next level, similar to be put in the closet, like a suit of clothes that doesn't need to be worn for a while, came to Earth and moved into or incarnated into an adult human body or vehicle that had been prepped for this particular particular task. That body was called Jesus, the member of the kingdom of heaven who was instructed to incarnate into that body to do so his father's or older member's instruction. He moved into or took over that body when it was 29 or 30 years old, at the time referred to as the baptism by John the Baptist. The incarnating event was depicted as Holy Spirit descended upon him in bodily form like a dove. Luke 3:22. That body, named Jesus, was tagged in his formative period to be the receptacle of the next level representative, and even just that tagging gave that vehicle some unique awareness of its coming purpose.
You know who this reminds me of? You reading that right now. Professor Truth. I'm not kidding. This is some shit he would say.
Yeah. It definitely sounds, from what you've shown us, yeah, that's definitely some Professor Truth stuff right there. Oh. But yeah, so apparently Jesus was a member of the next level of the kingdom of heaven. So
that's some next level shit, man. It had to be said. Come on.
Yeah. Why would aliens fly around in the tail of a comet? That's a good question. I'm hoping it will get to that some here, because I've never heard the answer for why it was hiding in the Hale-Bopp comet. If anybody knows, feel free to let us know. Either the member of the panel tonight or in the chat, if you guys know why they said it traveled behind the comet. We may get into it as we continue reading.
The
I
only
have a hypothesis.
Go ahead, Davros.
I win. So think about that. An alien spacecraft hiding in the tail of a comet. It's hiding in plain sight. That way it wouldn't be picked up by tracking equipment on Earth, and therefore they would have been able to ascend without hindrance. Easy. I could do a cult.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that, because it's the only way you'd be able to get close without detection, so it might be some excuse to explain why it wasn't spotted. But the thing is, whenever you only get comets on tails when they get near the sun, it's actually the sun blasting the comet away, or some of it. So when they actually get further away, it's just like a regular meteorite. It's just a hunk of rock floating around. So to hide in the tail is actually quite difficult. But you could probably hide behind the mass of the body. But you'd have to keep changing relative to the Earth. I don't think, from an orbital mechanics point of view, it would be very easy, if at all possible. But I guess that's the whole point of this. It's already ridiculous.
Reality
also,
again. Jeez, when will you learn, boy?
Yeah, I also found the name of that other guy I was mentioning. It was the Taiping Rebellion, where a guy claimed to be the younger brother of Jesus Christ and started a civil war that killed between 20 and 30 million people. It was, I think, more violent than World War One. Maybe. It's hard to get numbers, though, for it, because it was a while ago. 19th century. So not as long ago. So I thought.
Raven kind of touched on something here. She said the third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star blazing like a torch fell from the sky on the third of the rivers and the springs of water. That name of the star was Wormwood. It's quite possible that that's what they believed Hale-Bopp was the Wormwood coming around. So it's quite possible. Like I said, maybe we'll get into this, but that's with everything else that this Heaven's Gate cult believed, that would not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah. Listen, if you want to do the research on all that and try and figure it out, feel free. I'm just of the opinion they were a bunch of fucking nutballs. It's simple as that. Like,
well,
I want their dealer's number.
Now, see.
No, you don't want the stuff they're on. It has a bad ending.
The thing with cults, the thing with cults is not all their members are crazy. A lot of them are just easily manipulated into believing different things. Now,
Or just
9 out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, yeah, the cult leaders themselves are absolutely batshit nuts. I'll give that one. But yeah, a lot of times their followers aren't.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're just normal people who just happen to buy into the wrong thing. It happens. I mean, and also the further you get into it, I tried mentioning this a comment, I think on the last Conspiracies one, or was it on, actually, no, it was on Monday, was that the more you invest in it, the more it needs to be true. So you start looking for evidence against it, particularly once you've invested any portion of time or money into it. A good example is how people get roped in by psychics and mediums. The more, as soon as they start paying the money, they're like, well, I've spent all this money, it's got to be true. And so if you end up in a cult like this, it gets to the point where, you can be a normal person, but it's just a rabbit hole you end up going down that doesn't have any light at the end of it. If you're, well, in this case, it didn't have light at the end of it, but unless you come out, you got to go back up the hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think,
and to go along with that, Raven says some are just desperate for a solution to what life is bringing them.
Yeah, and apparently that's one reason psychologists think or reckon is one of the main reasons a lot of conspiracy theorists buy into conspiracy theories is that actually they reckon it gives them a sense of control when they think that there is actually someone orchestrating life like the Illuminati or they or whatever you want to call it. It gives people a sense of comfort that, we're not just this random chunk of rock hurtling through space where anything can happen. Now, of course, for a lot of people, that's not necessarily a problem, but it does play into why a lot of people might buy into it. To feel like you're part of something bigger is quite the sedative for the mind, I guess. And sedative is in like not feeling anxious sense rather than actually putting you to sleep necessarily.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to make a joke about being woke.
Godless Scummer says Scientology is the best example of what Matt's talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
That was actually, that came up. The only show I ever did with the ACA was we had a Scientologist ring up, and the reason he got out of it, he was a former one, was, in his words, it was just too expensive. But he still believed it all. And we tried talking about how do you know it's true, and nope. He said in that interview he'd spent probably over the years, the 10, 20 years he was in it, I forget exactly how long, that he'd probably spent more than $100,000. And he wasn't one of the serious followers.
Yeah, that's a low end.
Yeah. And that, I think, gives an idea of how people can get roped into this. Because at first, it's a sense of community, and it's a community. So you might be like, I don't 100% believe it, but I like the people, or I like this part of it, or maybe there's something to it, but it's not quite that. And you get into it a bit, and it's that rabbit hole every little bit. Every day you get further and further in before you know it. You've put so much into it. There has to be. And another example, I think, so I know Jeff pointed out the Scientology one, but another one is all the doomsday cults, which I guess you could argue this is very similar. It kind of was in the end. But those who think the world's going to end, you see the same thing. Some people invest everything they have into it, and then when the day comes around and nothing's happened, or nothing happens, they're in a lot of trouble.
So the leader has to change things up, and it's actually this,
Well, they keep running, and so does this one. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess there is a basic formula to a lot of these that, they offer some kind of insight or some hope that the universe is not random, and that there's some magical power. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm almost thinking like children's fairy tales, like all the imagination, like when I was little. Okay, I'm still little by some people's senses, but hey, I'm only 5'3", and I'm a lot younger than I think everyone else on this panel. But sorry, Jay.
No, I was just saying, as soon as you're done here, we're going to move on to the next paragraph. So
go on.
Okay, we're good. All right. The sole task that was given to this member from the kingdom of heaven was to offer the way leading to membership into the kingdom of heaven to those who recognized him for who he was and chose to follow him. The kingdom of heaven is at hand meant, since I am here and I am from the kingdom, if you leave everything in this world and follow me, I can take you into my Father's kingdom. Only those individuals who have received a deposit containing a soul beginning at the capacity to believe or recognize the kingdom of heaven's representative. They could get to his Father only through total reliance upon him. He later sent his students out with the good news of the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and his followers could help them gather the flock so that the shepherd might teach others what was required of them to enter his Father's house, his Father's kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, in the literal and physical heavens. Certainly not among humans on earth. Leaving behind this world included family, sensuality, selfish desires, your human mind, and even your body, if it be required of you, all mammalian ways, thinking and behavior. Since he had been through this metaphoric transition himself from human to level above human, under the guidance of his Father, he was qualified to take others through the same, through that same discipline and transition. Remember, the one who incarnated in Jesus was sent for one purpose only, to say, if you want to go to heaven, I can take you through the gates. It requires everything of you.
Sounds like a mix between Scientology and Christianity.
Yeah, this was one of the reasons that I say but it's the same when I say I like Edmund Kemper for serial killers. It's not that I like and enjoy them. I find them fascinating.
Yeah.
So don't get it wrong when I say the one reason I like this, it's not that type of like, is the, I mean, we're going to get into it when we get down into this paragraph here. There's some interesting things. Their belief system to me was all over the place. It was a mix. It was, mind you, we're coming into the 70s. It's just after the height of the UFO thing. I mean, you're getting into some of the weirder UFO sightings, coming through. Christianity and the New Age system, were fighting head to head during this time. So they were trying to grab both, people from the New Age movements and the mainstream religions while trying to tie in UFOs and
like the Moonies. Or the Moonies, I think. Yeah, the Moonies were a thing back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
The movies, yeah.
Moonies.
The Moonies.
Moonies.
Yeah.
I don't know the Moonies.
Moonies.
It sounds familiar. I don't know what
They
the
were
Moonies
called.
is though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a cult. They're still around.
They were like moon worshippers?
No.
A UFO cult.
No, Mooney was the founder of their cult, and the son is still around leading the cult.
Didn't the father said he was like an alien or something?
Something like that.
The Unification Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Founded by Reverend Sun Myung Moon in 1954.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I recognize it now. All right. I don't know much about it, but I do. I recognize the name and stuff. But yeah. Okay.
I don't know much about it. I know the name and.
When did a Chinese restaurant become a cult?
Actually, talking about cults from that area of the world, not too far from where I am, well, at least in driving distance, I've gone past it a few times. I didn't know what it was. It took me ages before I actually got my attention. There's a building, and on the front of the building, it's got plastered with all these weird symbols. It's like looks kind of like the Greco-Roman style facade on it. It's got happy science. For the most part, I ignored it for a lot of my life. But then eventually someone with this was like, that's weird. What's that? Well, I don't know. So I looked it up. Apparently it's a cult, almost certainly a cult, that is larger than Scientology, started by a guy who thinks he's the reincarnation of, I can't remember, but it was either a Hindu or Buddha. It was some Hindu deity or Buddha, and it's some combination of like mixing in like the Abrahamic religions with Hinduism and Buddhism to get this really, really weird cult that is I never heard of before, but was apparently it's bigger than I think it rivals like the Jehovah's Witnesses, or it's even bigger. I'll look it up, but there is some
definitely want to
weird
look
and
into that
wacky-
one.
Yeah, that might be a worthwhile one doing on some of these shows, because you walk past it and they have all these weird, like little flyers stuck on like a billboard. What they say is just like it's like it's like the Oriental version of JW propaganda. It's
I've actually got my own David Koresh in my state.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah, again,
Oh.
South Australia.
Yeah, his name's Rocco Leo. He's just been imprisoned for touching people.
I think I heard of him.
Oh,
Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
He's got a compound just outside of Wollonga, and apparently it's reminiscent of Waco.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into Ruby Ridge and Waco at some point too.
Oh wow, yeah,
Well,
those are interesting ones.
Mine's recent.
Yeah,
I want to answer the question that they have there on their website. Why it is difficult to believe or accept this? Because you think you're freaking aliens.
we got a shout out for Grumpy. Grumpy, you're online. Yay, cool.
Yeah, I'm still online.
Just not
hey
Twitter.
Ted.
I'm just not allowed on Twitter anymore because, well, they're assholes. So
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 are you?
one thing I wanted to bring up here is this word here, sensuality.
Which one?
Sensuality. One of the things that you have to leave behind. It was also frowned upon in Heaven's Gate to have sex with anyone. They were to become celibate. At one point, they did chemical castration. After there was a botched attempt and an actual castration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
one question I have is, why did they need money? Because the ones who killed themselves, they had like $5 in quarters on them. Every single one of them did, I think.
That we'll actually get into that later on. There was a reason behind it. So
Capville.
the same with the track suits and the Nikes and all that stuff. There's actual reasoning behind what they wear, what they wore, and what they had upon their persons when they passed away. But that will be right now. We're just looking at basically the mission statement, the purpose and belief of Heaven's Gate.
Okay, I jumped ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. 2 pounds of the Queen's money from Godless Scummer. Grumpy 2024. Ed for president.
that would not end well.
But no, just
I think it would end better than some people in the past.
I don't want to derail this too far, but this was actually something that was brought up the other day. Ed for president, Jade for vice president. So,
and if you don't vote for them, you're gonna get throat punched.
yep. Yeah, they did.
All right, next time, I'll threaten to throat punch you.
There you go. But yeah, there was an actual botched castration, and so that's why they ended up doing the chemical castrations. In math,
I
almost
I don't think it matters how it ends. Any botched, like that's just gonna be bad.
yeah. Oh, it was from what the guys at Necronomicon said. It was horrible. So, moving on to the next part. Our mission is exactly the same. I am in the same position to do today's society as was the one that was in Jesus's then. My being here now is actually a continuation of the last task as was promised to those who were students 2,000 years ago. They are here again, continuing in their own overcoming while offering the same transition to others. Our only purpose is to offer the discipline and grafting required of this transition into membership in my Father's house. My father, my older member, came with me this time for the first half of this task to assist in the task because of his present difficulty. Looking to us and desiring to be part of my Father's kingdom can offer to those who deposits that chance to connect with the level above human and begin the transition. Your separation from the world and reliance upon the kingdom of heaven through its representatives can open to you the opportunity to become a new creature, one of the next evolutionary level, rightfully belonging to the kingdom of heaven.
It's not how evolution works.
Wow.
Okay.
I
Have you seen a platypus?
Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
froze again, Matt.
Oh, well, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the screen, but I think, why is it difficult to believe or accept us? Because it's crazy.
So if anybody
We're
wants
just
to,
different.
if anybody in the chat wants to read along with us, just go to heavensgate.com and then click on this first one, Doe's intro into the purpose of the simple bottom line, and you can read along with us in real time.
Or with a 10-second delay.
Well, yeah. Because I understand that sometimes my reading is not the best.
No, the delay's only for us to them. They'll be doing it in real time
That's true.
to them. Reference frames. Come on, Matt.
So, why is it difficult to believe or accept us? We don't know if you believe in real existence of the negative or lower forces. If you do, then you may be able to understand or relate to some of what we are about to say. It seems that how your programming permits you to see or identify those forces determines the limit of your acceptance and understanding. Many believe that there are evil acts or even evil individuals, but would draw the line before they would believe in evil spirits, evil discarnates, negative influences, malevolent space aliens, Luciferians, or Satan and his fallen angels.
Just kept getting worse. But I was getting... Like, that list was just slowly increasingly insanity, but it has a lot of vibes of the kind of flat earther things about your programming.
Oh.
Or you can't believe us because
Hang on,
you've
Matt.
been brainwashed.
Just quickly,
But that is
Lemon
quite...
Bird
you know,
says it all the time. Your
which one, sorry?
Luciferian Lemon Bird. He's a well-known flat earther. And he says, your Luciferian, Masonic, atheist, baby-eating, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a script. He rolls it off. But that's Satanism, right? An atheist can't believe in Satan.
yes, by definition.
Yeah.
Satan's Christian.
But
again,
whenever I see something like that where it talks about programming or like mass manipulation, that immediately sets off alarm bells for either conspiracy theory or cult or C, or all of the above.
yeah. And again, I'm reminded of Professor Truth talking about all of us being in a matrix and, you know, our souls being, I don't know, separated from our natural alien beings.
That it's the more you look into what was going on. I mean, there. Now, mind you, we're looking at this in a snapshot part of their existence. Mind you, they started in the 70s and they went for 20 years. So the gradually over time, their belief system started from small and became what it ended up being. We're looking at, I guess you would say, the final product. So some point during their evolution, and I use that and not the evolution, but you know, in their evolution of the growing of the cult, things have changed. Now I don't believe, if I remember right, they didn't believe when it first started the alien aspect in the UFOs. I think it was, I'm trying to remember. I believe T said she was the reincarnation of Jesus. As they progressed, more and more things happen is where we can.
Wasn't it Apple Juice who brought in the UFO stuff?
No, it was T. This whole thing was T's idea. Apple would.
No, but I thought Doe actually, Bo, whatever you want to call him. I thought he was the one who pushed the UFO narrative after she passed.
Yeah, it was. I was.
Yeah.
Real quick, can we trust the people on this panel? As far as I can tell, they think that getting formal education actually helps people understand things better. Thanks, Digital Hammurabi. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Always enjoy you here.
I have his book coming.
I've got it on audiobook. It's actually good.
I wanted a hard copy, but it has to ship from the US, so it's going to take another couple of weeks, I think. But a week and a half.
They've got the voice narrating it, so I mean, you gotta. Anyways, yeah. So when T died, if I'm trying to, it's been a little while since I listened to it, but from what the guys in Necronomipod said, when T passed away, they were just starting to get into the UFO aspect of it, and she didn't tell Doe where she was going, with that point of it, so he was lost. And then after a while, he started adding more and more of this, because if I remember right, she had nothing to do with the Hale-Bopp comet. That was all Marshall's idea.
Yeah, that's what I understand it as.
What is that? Is that how he regenerated the cult and started bringing people, new people in? Then,
yeah, it was the UFO aspect of it.
Okay,
that's I could be. I've looked at so many different cults, and I may have. I may be interlacing.
Yeah.
Some.
You are correct.
Am I correct?
According to other sources, not just Wikipedia, that Crazy Eyes in the early 90s was pushing UFO conspiracies on mainstream television. So, well,
which one's Crazy Eyes?
Marshall.
Apple.
Have you seen a picture of him?
Yeah.
This guy's. He looks like a psychopath.
Yeah. His eyes pop out of his head. He is. There we go. That'll do.
Yeah, crazy is an understatement there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh. Yes, definitely an understatement.
This is. I believe that is her. I believe that's Bonnie. There.
Yep. And that's Dum Dum.
Yeah. So.
I mean, listen. I'm sorry if somebody like that started trying to talk to me and tell me I know the truth and the way to enlightenment. I'd be like, dude, if you don't back off,
I'll introduce you to the enlightenment of the pavement.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Please, Grumpy would.
Just let me alight your wallet a little.
Yeah. I mean, back then people were looking for answers, though. I kind of get it, how people could be vulnerable to this shit back then.
I mean, yeah, I get it. You're looking for answers, but I mean, this guy looks like he wants to eat your freaking kidneys after putting you in a bathtub of ice.
But the one thing with Applewhite is he was very charismatic, and that's what gets a lot of these cult leaders, their followers, is their charisma and their ability to manipulate. It doesn't matter. He looks like he's got eyeballs the size of freaking 50-cent pieces, but it's the way he approached the followers that gave him the power, so to speak. So
If you can make it so many, like, I don't know what the word for it. It's like dramatization. It's just how you speak. It's I'm lost.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
I mean, you experienced that yourself, Ed. So there's no difference between the two different groups in that aspect.
I mean, the people that first started talking to me, they looked normal.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Well, they all do.
But mind you, the pictures we get of Marshall
does not look normal.
Yeah, the main pictures we get of Marshall is that one picture with his eyes real big. That's actually taken from a snapshot from a video in the middle of him talking. So,
yeah.
So, anyways, we're going to move on. The generally accepted norms of today's society, the world over, are designed, established, and maintained by the individuals who were at one time students of the kingdom of heaven. Angels in the making who flunked out of the classroom. Legends and scriptures refer to them as fallen angels. The current civilizations record the use of the name Satan or Lucifer to describe a single fallen angel and also to nickname any evil presence. If you have experienced some of what our classroom requires of us, you would know that these presences are real and that the kingdom of God even permits them to attack us in order for us to learn their tricks and how to stay above them or conquer them. The space aliens, or Luciferians, use the discarnate spirits, the minds that are disembodied to the death of the body, as their primary servants against potential members of the kingdom of God. These influences, or discarnates, are constantly programming every human plant, vehicle, or body to accept a set of beliefs and the norms for the behavior during a lifetime. From our point of view, this programming finds that body, and the vast majority of all human bodies, are barely usable by students of the kingdom of heaven.
Some Illuminati style stuff there.
Oh, wow.
That was a whole lot of gook going on in that one.
I am doubling down on my statement earlier about how close this is to the kind of the way a lot of flat earthers talk about the control the Illuminati has on everyone, and the narrative that somehow every country in the world, all the leaders are in on the same thing, despite how they can't agree on anything else. Mm-hmm. But yet they can all program us to think the same way. Though I couldn't point to any two people on this planet that actually do think the same way. But yeah, this is... My alarm bells were ringing to start with, in terms of just the general signs, and now I think they've rung themselves off the wall.
I like the angels that failed their angel class.
Actually, I think Jay and I would like to refute your claim there, Matt.
Did I crash out?
No, you're still here.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
I saw a few people on the side load out for a second. So.
Oh no! It's a glitch in the Matrix. Careful, the Luciferians are coming for you.
What were you going to say there, Davros?
Myself and Jay think quite a lot alike.
It's true.
I'm just stuck on the whole they failed their angel class.
Inside joke.
That was brilliant.
Where was that part in the Bible that they had to take a class to be angels? I mean,
the only thing I think they got right.
I mean,
angel report card, must try harder.
Angel at home room.
Does not keep his wings clean enough.
Ezekiel 23:20.
Give me a second.
Yeah. There's nothing about angels needing training. They were created.
Fifth period wing maintenance.
I knew that was that one, but I had to double check.
Oh.
I'm gonna look this up the old-fashioned way.
Christian is Ezekiel 23:20.
I keep forgetting which the order of all the books, but I'll find it.
I knew that was. I knew I shouldn't have looked it up because I knew what it. Yeah, it was the one.
2320.
Yeah.
26. No, let's go back a bit. 2 went too far. 23. Where is it? 20. Do I want to be reading this? Oh. Well, I seem to have walked into it, but here we go. There, she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys, and whose emission was like that of horses. So you longed for the lewdness of your youth, when in Egypt your bosom was caressed and your young breasts fondled.
Yeah, that is Chris's favorite verse.
There is another verse that directly talks about the Egyptians having large members.
Yeah, well, we're devolving here, Chris.
Yes.
Thanks, Chris.
Damn it. It's all your fault.
I am definitely putting a marker on that page, though.
Cryptomaria says, "Wow, the Bible is
we
muddy."
give to kids.
Save it for later.
Yeah, gonna be reading that in your private time, huh, Matt?
Anyways,
You can find this on the internet now if you want to actually see.
as above. Oh, go ahead.
I prefer 2517.
Yeah, we're not going there. We're gonna go back to this. As the above example,
Jay knows what that is.
yeah, I do. As the above example can serve to testify, the lower forces would, through their norm concept, what is socially acceptable, what is politically correct, have you not believe in spirits, spirit possession, negative space aliens, Satan, etc. They would have you believe that to even dabble in these ideas is that of the occult, satanic, or at least giving credence to fringe topics. That's where they do also categorize any mental search of the Eastern religions, astrology, metaphysics, paranormal, UFOs, etc., etc. In other words, they, these space aliens, don't want themselves found out, so they condemn any exploration. They want you to be perfect servant to their society of their world, to the acceptable establishment, to humanity, and to false religious concepts. Part of that stay blinded formula goes like this. Above all, be married, a good parent, a reasonable churchgoer, buy a house, pay a mortgage, pay your insurance, have a good line of credit, be socially committed, and graciously accept death with the hope that through his shed blood or some other equally worthless religious precepts, you will go to the heaven after your death.
Okay. So death is inevitable then.
I think that's what he said.
Just that was done more fancy.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to say here is, though, they want you to do this, be married, good parent, reasonable churchgoer, blah, 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 to get the kingdom of heaven, when actually that's not what is actually needed. But that's what they want you. There you go, Matt. They want you to believe. There. And there it is right there. They want you to be a perfect servant to society of their world.
That's the them. I
can see people buying into that. You know, like, yeah, you're right. That's all bullshit. So what do you have to offer?
Here, I have
I think that's where they get people. They, in amongst the crazy, there were one or two hooks of slightly less crazy. And it gives some people comfort. It doesn't have to be many. It can be 1 in 10,000. As long as they show it to enough people or present it to enough people, then they'll get followers.
I kind of want to read semantic about this one point. If you're mentioning Kool-Aid about the Jim Jones thing, it wasn't really Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't care. Sue me.
Quick question.
Like
Were lasers
semantics
involved? Was there lasers? There must be lasers. Just for nerdy.
Go ahead, Ed.
didn't this group here, didn't they use cyanide?
Cyanide tablets, yep.
Yeah. Now, I've always, kind of wondered, like, where the hell are you getting these from? Yeah.
Some of these chemicals are surprisingly easy to get your hands on if you know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, I guess back then too, it was a lot easier. Yeah.
I mean, Australia's pretty strict on most of the chemicals because, particularly for anything that can be used to make explosives. But I know the US is a lot more lax. There are a surprising number of poisons and precursors to certain other more nasty chemicals that you can get with more or less.
You can make ricin
too
at
much.
home.
Yeah.
Whether you survive or not's a different story, but you can make it at home.
So, we're gonna speed this up a little bit. We have just passed the hour mark, so we don't want to keep this running too much longer.
Because you keep talking.
I'm reading. So,
Oh, that's
all
what
right.
it's called.
Yeah. So many segments of society, especially segments in the religion, think they are not of the world, but rather of their conversion experience finds them outside of worldliness. The next statement that we will make will be the big tester, the one that the lower forces would use to clarify would use to clearly have you discredit or disregard us. That statement is, unless you are currently an active student or an attempting to become a student of the present representative from the kingdom of heaven, you are still of the world, having done no significant separation from the worldliness, and you are still serving the opposition to the kingdom of heaven. This statement sounds to humans who have been so carefully programmed by the lower forces, arrogant, pompous, or egotistical at the least, as if by taking the stand we had something to gain, as if we are seeking recognition as deity or self-appointed prophets. That Luciferian programming has truly been effective, for we don't even want the voice to reach the statement in question. However, believe it or not, it is only for your sake, the sake of prospective recipients of the kingdom of heaven, that we must tell the truth, openly identify to you as representatives of the kingdom of heaven, well aware of the fallout of that position.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds fun.
I think that's another hook in there, is that they try and offer some sense of purpose. As nonsense as it is, unfortunately, not everybody spots that.
Yeah.
Jay, my eyes are bad.
Yeah.
Are they listing Bible verses in there?
Yeah, two paragraphs down they are.
Oh, jeez. So they're trying to justify all this word salad with Bible quotes.
Oh yeah, remember I told you Bonnie said she was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they use the Bible.
So the hard facts or bold statements in a nutshell that are so difficult to accept or digest come down to, if you want or ever expect to go to heaven, there we go. I can read. Here is your window. That window opportunity requires A, an incarnate, a human representative of the kingdom of heaven. 2, that all who hope to enter heaven become active students of that representative while the representative is present. 3, those who endure the transition classroom until it ends, adequate bonding or grafting to that representative will go with that representative, literally leave the human kingdom and earth as he is about to do. Staying behind for any significant period could jeopardize that graft. That window to heaven will not open again until another civilization is planted and has reached its sufficient maturity according to the judgment of the next level. So there's the whole reason why they can justify it still being around. So we got $5 Australian from D3. Need lasers to make this a better cult. Mind you, we would make the cult of J/Tony.
I could imagine Tony going in a cult.
bruh. Check out my lazy
Bruh.
shark, bruh.
It'd be the bra coat. Not BRA, but BRUH.
Yeah,
The
bruh.
bra coat.
So we at the beginning of the show we asked why they were still around. Well, it explains it here. From what I'm getting from it, I mean, if somebody reads it differently, the window of heaven will not open again until another civilization is planted and has reached sufficient maturity, according to the judgment of the next level. So there you go. $5 super chat from I Am Raven, the holy dwarven cult of Tony. So I'm gonna read these last couple bits here, and then we'll get final statements, their mission statement. So we can't blame you for buying into the Luciferian program. What else has been available during these periods when no representative was present? Almost nothing. To save some mourning in the scriptures, i.e. Luke 20:34-36, Luke 21:23, Mark 12:25, and Mark 13:17-19. Check these out. Another
the first
fact,
one's just having. Oh, sorry. The
No, go
first
ahead.
one was just having a go at marriage. That's all I got out of reading the first one. I haven't got to the others, but it was just like you marry and do all this stuff, but you don't do anything for the next life. Something really vague.
so another fact is that when someone is into what someone is into during the time of the representative is not present really doesn't matter that much, except that they are found unprepared when one comes, and the only time when the kingdom of heaven can be offered to you. Did that make any sense to anybody? I read it
No.
out loud and it made no sense.
No, I'm
Yep.
just as lost as you are.
No.
Another
Don't
fact,
even read that again.
Yeah,
Don't you
read it
dare.
again. Let's see.
Another fact is
go ahead, Matt. You read it.
Do it.
See if I can hear it and it make any sense.
See,
all right.
let's-
Another fact is that what someone is into during the time a representative is not present really doesn't matter that much, except that they are found unprepared when one comes. The only time when the kingdom of heaven can be offered to you.
No, didn't help.
No.
Hang on. No, I got it. It's at the moment you're on the precipice and you're about to blow, you'll enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, I just got sexual references out of that.
Okay.
Yeah. The only word that I heard there was coming. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's.
All right.
What? There was two of us on the same wavelength, Jay.
I know.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
The dilemma is we are here and most humans are thoroughly hooked into humanity. However, the same grace that was available at the end of the representative's mission 2,000 years ago is available now with our presence. If you quickly choose to take these steps towards separating from the world and to look at us for help, you will see our Father's kingdom. It is clear to us all that to the Antichrist, those propagators of sustained faithfulness to mammalian humanism, we are and will be seen as their Antichrist. This is certainly to be expected, and it will not delay our return to our Father's kingdom. It might even accelerate that return. We will, between now and our departure, do everything we can for those who want to go with us, but we cannot allow them to interfere with or delay our return to Him. The present representative, Doe.
Wow.
Sorry, there's just
Yeah.
just
So-
came. It's like
That big old bit of gobbledygook was the Doe's intro, our purpose, the simple bottom
Oh
line.
my god.
And now, mind you, that is just an excerpt from the Heaven's Gate book. Yeah, doe, a deer, a female deer.
yeah, Nerdy's got it right though. Don't.
No.
I wrote that. Don't.
So, as we wrap up the first episode of Heaven's Gate, what are your guys' thoughts so far? Matt, we'll
job.
start with you.
Yeah, just nut jobs. That's it's. I mean, it's hard to laugh at it too much, knowing what actually happened. But still, it's whoever the person who started it is a nut job. I know not the followers. I'm not calling them nut jobs. As I said earlier, they probably just accidentally fell down the rabbit hole for one reason or another. But yeah, it's got a lot of those very typical conspiracy theory sounding items to it. I mean, if we did a bingo card, I think we would have hit bingo a long time ago.
2 pounds from Godless Scummer. Final thoughts: Heaven's Gate or Wackadoodles? So yeah. Ed.
Scummer should leave his doodle alone.
Final thoughts, Ed?
My final thoughts are, once again, it just another example of how religions can be harmful and how anybody can twist anything to fit their narrative and hurt other people. We need to, I don't know, keep pushing for critical thinking.
Yes.
Brandon, final thoughts?
Well, pretty much what Grumpy said. I mean, that's what religions do. They twist stuff to fit their narrative, and it's usually always harmful. It's disgusting, man. More critical thinking. Yeah. Pretty much just what Grumpy said. That's my thoughts.
All right. Davros, final thoughts?
Right. So, I have seen e-meters in person. I have witnessed born-again Christians. This is just like, Jay, like, I don't care how Buddhist you are. This shit makes you look sane.
Yeah, like I said, now you understand why Heaven's Gate is one of those cults that I really like. Like I said before, when I say I like it, it fascinates. So
yeah.
Well, hang on.
We got $5 from Darth Dawkins. Could be worse. At least they don't believe a giant snake is circling the earth, eating dead atheists. Although that would be justice.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, Gary. So, like I said, that was just the opening salvo of what is known as the Heaven's Gate website. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, this could easily. I mean, there's still 9 more sections of just bookmarks. Like I said, then there's videotapes. Well, we can get the transcripts of the videotapes. I said we just looked at now. The next one we'll be covering will be the 95 statement by an ET presently incarnate.
Oh wow!
That has got 22 different bullet points, so to speak. So yeah,
so we've had a salvo, and then it's going to be a sortie. What's next? An all-out thermonuclear war of Heaven's Gate, or what?
No, it's funny because it says the 95 statement, and up in the corner it says slightly edited January 97. So that will be the same time next week. Like I said, we'll be looking at the 95 statement by an ET presently incarnate.
Nice.
For those of you that are watching, thank you for being here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Don't forget, through the end of the month on our Redbubble, any merchandise bought of the Darth Dawkins Reads the Bible merchandise, all proceeds to the end of August will be going donated in Darth Dawkins' names to a transgender charity. Because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So the link for the Redbubble is in the description. If you have a topic you want to talk to any of us about, or if you want to set up a one-on-one conversation or debate, email us at hereticals. What's the email? hereticals6pack@gmail.com. That is also in the description. Also, for all of us here at Hereticals, this has been Cults and Conspiracy. I am Jay. That is Matt. That is Ed. That is Brandon, and that is Davros. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking this journey with us. Until next time, be water, my friends.